Hi, everyone. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi. Thank you for joining us on the Immigration Lawyers podcast, part of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. And we have a great guest, a regular sponsor of the podcast in the magazine, James Pittman, co-founder of Docketwise, the immigration management software, not just forms, that a lot of us use, a lot of my listeners use. So I'm really happy, James, to have you on. You've been a wonderful sponsor, so I wanted to make sure people know more about you, in particular, all the different things that are coming up, because sometimes there's a lot going on Docketwise. There's just so many new features that it's a little overwhelming. It's good. It's good overwhelming. It's like having more money. It's like, oh my God, I got a bunch of money all of a sudden. What am I going to do? But I wanted to talk with you about what stuff has happened and what other stuff's being added, what direction. I mean, one quick thing that's jump in is you got that integration with Apple iPhone. Is the Android version coming too, or are we going? How far down the line is that?
Absolutely. It's coming imminently. It's being worked on. I mean, it should be a matter of weeks for that. You can sign up at the present time for access to the iPhone app. It's out in beta, and the Android app a couple of weeks for that.
Very interesting. How much work does it take to make one of these apps for a system like yours? What's involved?
A lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. You have to, get the required authorizations from them to proceed with it. And we have, a person who's sort of, most of their job function is dedicated to developing that app. Mm-hmm. They get assistance from some of the other engineers. It's a process that's, takes a couple of months at least.
Very interesting. So yeah, it's just been in the pipeline for a while then. You've been working on it for a while.
Yeah, it's been planned for several months, and we've had the engineering team of some of the engineers dedicated to developing that for a few months.
It's always wondered, like there's this new Clubhouse app, and they've only done, it's only available on iPhones. But they say, because usually iPhone people are usually do use the apps more, and for the consumer market, usually they pay more for apps and stuff like that. Obviously, your app is the add-on to a existing subscription system you have. But is there a reason why you went iPhone first, not Android, or just you did both at the same time? This one just got done faster.
I think we started both at the same time, and this just got done faster.
Interesting. Now you have another thing that started with integrating Gmail and Outlook when you want to communicate with clients. I saw the email and there's a video tutorial, but how does that work? Like, does that mean when I'm emailing somebody, what happens with Docketwise?
So from your Gmail account, there's an icon that's in the lower right of the screen, which basically looks like a plus sign, and that's for attaching add-ons. So once you activate that, then it's going to take you to sort of the Gmail add-on marketplace, and you find the Docketwise add-on and authorize that. And then you activate from the Docketwise side, you activate the Gmail integration. And then when someone emails you into your Gmail account, you're then going to be able to save that email from your Gmail account into Docketwise, into the correct, client fold, into the correct client page under the messages, and also save any attachments, which will go in as files into Docketwise, right? And it's going to work the same way for Outlook. The Outlook integration will be available soon, within a couple of weeks.
Really neat. I didn't realize it was that easy to do, because I get these emails from like different things I have to do, and I'm like, my mind, I'm like, oh, that's going to take an hour of me thinking. I didn't realize it's just a click, and the 2 minutes.
It's very easy. Very easy.
I got to make sure to do that. What else is going on? What other new products are you going to surprise us with? I know so many come every day.
There's a lot. We're now up to 8 foreign languages on Docketwise: English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Chinese, Russian, Arabic, Hindi. That's been expanded. We now have the QuickBooks integration that's available for Docketwise Suite. So we have now, two sort of subscription levels of Docketwise. There's the standard, which is all the basic functions, and then there's the suite, which contains some extra functions, one of which is the QuickBooks integration. And that's something that's brand new. We're just in the process of notifying our users that's available, but so you can see it from the integration page of your account. We have the bulk texting and messaging. So you can now, with Docketwise Suite, you can send out bulk text messages, single text to a client, or text a number of clients at the same time. Same thing with emails. You can send out an email blast to numerous clients at the same time. That's available in Suite. We have the leads.
I want to talk about that real quick, because I was looking at the software for advertising and marketing on text messages, and they had like per text things and the packages you could buy. But having something like that's great. Like when the public charge rule disappears, it's easier to notify everybody quick.
Yes.
How do fees work for that? Is it just part of your thing, or is there per text?
It's part of Suite. It's part of Docketwise Suite. So we have two levels. The Docketwise, the standard is a $59 a month per user, and Docketwise Suite is just a little bit more. It's just $79 per month per user. And there's a comparable annual rate, which you get a good rate if you subscribe annually. But yeah, once you've subscribed to the suite, then you can use that to an unlimited extent.
Wow, you can send that. So that's amazing. I got to use that. I mean, it's cost effective, because I was looking at systems of how to mass market for text messages, and it ends up being a lot of money if you buy a separate system. So hopefully your guys, our servers won't get overwhelmed with people using that software. But that's like my I was going to say my second to-do list from this conversation, but I want to push that one up because I've been really interested in text messaging. So what was the next thing I cut you off? You're about another integration that you're adding.
The leads, with the leads feature. So the leads feature is our CRM, our customer relations management, and that's for managing prospective client leads. So basically, leads have a profile page just like a contact has a contact page in Docketwise, and you can collect information for leads. You consider a person is a lead right up until the time when they actually retain you to represent them. At that point, you convert them to a client. There's a button to convert them to a client, and that changes it from a lead into a contact. So leads do not appear in your contacts list. Contacts do not appear in your leads list. They're kept separate, but leads have profile pages where it's very prominently marked as a lead. You can create questionnaires for them as a lead. You can collect information from them, create an invoice, and use all of the functionality for them while they are a lead, so that and then once they become a client, you just convert them and it just moves over. We give you the HTML code to put on your website to create the contact button on your website, and prospective clients coming onto your site will click that and they'll get the contact module form where they put in their name, email, phone number, and a question or comment about their legal issue. And that will create them automatically as a lead in your Docketwise account, and then you follow up with them. There's two sections for leads. There's all leads, and then there's due leads. Due leads mean that they're due for follow-up, and they'll become due based on a frequency that you set. So you set the frequency for how often you should follow up with them, whether it's twice a week, once a week, what have you. And during that time interval, the lead will pop up on the due lead side, and you do the outreach. You can send them templated emails to try to prompt them to schedule an appointment with you, and so forth. And you move them through your pipeline and get them to convert to a client.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, I mean, you guys you're attacking. So, I always want to talk about Docketwise. I want to make sure it's a forms program, because you have marketing integration and leads and all this kind of stuff happening. And it's all you needed. And usually there's you have to have 4 or 5 different companies put this all together, but your goal is to do an all-in-one package at a high quality.
Absolutely. The goal is to have all the bases covered, to be a one stop shop where people can do all their form production, all their case management, as well as their CRM functions. I mean, that's really where the industry is going toward greater and greater integration, products integrating with each other. And we're aiming to sort of cover all the bases and allow you all of the integrations that you need to have your entire business working seamlessly, from the first point of contact of a potential client, of a lead with your firm, straight through to when they retain you, you handle their case, and so on, and repeated business, and have all and the accounting and everything be seamlessly integrated.
That's real cool. So what does 2021 look? I mean, you have all these stuff in the pipeline, which you plan out months ahead of time, they come to fruition. But expansion
of what we have. We're constantly in a process of trying to build upon and perfect what we already have. So expansion of the client portal. We're looking at ways to expand it, especially in regard to some of the functionality that firms need when they do a lot of business immigration. They want more complexity in the client portal for their corporate clients, for their HR people coming in. So we're going to be expanding that so that the corporate clients will be able to see things organized by matter. I mean, a company client might have multiple matters, and they'll be able to see that organized by the matters, and see all the receipt numbers and the statuses organized that way. So expanding the client portal. We have document assembly features coming. You'll be able to work with the uploaded documents, reorganize them, paginate them, create a table of contents, and e-signatures and things like that. So full document assembly coming several months from now. The Android app, the Outlook email integration, expansion of, let's see, what else are the QuickBooks integrations ready? Yeah, those are going to be some of the main, those are the big ones that are coming down the pike.
That document assembly is something I see in comments and stuff people talking about a lot, and that's going to be a really important part for solo and small practitioners like myself. So that's really interesting. And for the corporate side, I mean, having what you said, that interconnection is to get that big whale. That's the one that makes a difference for all these HRs. The other thing you mentioned with regards to e-signing, is it going to be like a platform where you can send out all your forms and contracts to get it e-signed like that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have it so that any document that you have uploaded as a file, you'll be able to indicate where you want an e-signature and then send it, to the recipient to affix their e-signature. And, that's going to be, I mean, EOIR right now is accepting e-signatures. USCIS officially does not accept e-signatures, but a lot of attorneys want to get e-signatures on their retainer agreement, on different other documents that they'll send to the client, on their EOIR forms and so on. So we're gonna make it available for any document that you upload, and you'll decide where you want those signatures affixed, and then be able to send that to the respondent.
That's wonderful.
To the recipient, not the respondent, but the recipient.
I'm paying like $15 a month to HelloSign to do that same service.
Right.
It integrates there and automatically goes in the folder for the client. It connects it. It really makes life easier. So, I mean, you invest in Docketwise and you save money that way by integrating all this stuff.
You really do. You really do. And it makes your life simpler when you have everything centralized. I mean, you definitely don't want to be, I mean, all of these accessory functionalities, there's no need to have a separate platform for all these accessories. You're right. Exactly.
That's really neat. So, how's life doing a business? You don't practice
Right.
at all anymore, right? It's just full time.
No, I don't practice anymore. I mean, I'm full time engaged in Docketwise. Yeah, that is my role here as co-founder, is my full time occupation, and that's enough for enough for anybody. And so yes, I mean, just promoting the company, keeping people informed of what we're doing. Certainly, running our sales function, and doing webinars. We're going to be starting regular, training webinars on a regular basis, so that people won't even have to. I mean, they can always sign up for a training, but we're going to have a sort of set time during the week. We're going to be, running a demonstration that people can just log on and see the demonstration. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm engaged in full time. I mean, I think we've been very helpful to people during COVID. The years that 2020 was just so incredibly challenging for everybody. And I think that, definitely people who were forced to digitize their practice and forced to collect data and documentation remotely from their clients, I don't think they're going to want to go back even when the pandemic comes to an end. I mean, once you get a taste of what it's like to automate some of your functions, you definitely don't want to retreat on that front. I mean, so in a way, it's kind of forced change. It's accelerated changes that were already happening and forced people to adapt quicker than they were otherwise adapting. And we want to just, assist people in that, in getting into the modern era here of where the technology is and how they should be operating.
How all-consuming is being a co-founder? Is it like an immigration lawyer where it's just constantly in your mind? I bet it is.
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. I mean, there's just basically constantly around the clock things to attend to, and you have to respond to situations come up, and it's different. I mean, it's not the client calling you on the edge of a cliff because something's going on in their case. It's something that maybe with USCIS, for example, with the public charge, I mean, they, and the courts, and they were blocking it and allowing it and blocking it and allowing it and all of it. And, and so we had to, sort of make both versions. We have to, decide we have to make both versions of the forms available. And then when it's no longer in use at all, we'll take it down altogether. So those are all decisions that we have to make to make sure that our users have access to the tools that they need. And we have to do that in response to what the Immigration Service is doing. So, so those are some of the things. There's constant issues that have to be attended to, just sort of soliciting from our users the feedback that we need to continue to guide our development and find out, are we having an impact on their pain in terms of, their ability to get their work done more effectively, and how can we optimize the impact that we're having on the problems that they have and the technology that they need. And just constantly attending to that. I was going to say something else, but it's going out of my mind. I'll think of it in a second. Go ahead.
How do you differentiate or split apart the work between you and Jeremy, or is it both of you just putting out kind of fires and managing a company? Or do you
no, I mean we have a different emphasis and a different. I mean we're symbiotic in the sense that we both have to collaborate closely on many things, but we have different strengths. I mean, he is the head of the engineering team, first and foremost, guides the development and sets their priorities and makes sure that the overall coordination of the team is occurring so that we are progressing toward our development goals properly. My number one responsibility is to run the sales function. So I, basically make sure that we are selling and that people are subscribing and that we are adapting to what people want. And also, there's a lot that goes into maintaining it. Now, as we are developing, legal questions arise. Like I use this example, now that the I-944, the public charge, we've gone back to the pre-Trump public charge rule. We're going to be taking down the I-944 imminently because it is no longer needed. So those are all legal questions. When those types of things arise, they come to me, and then I have to ascertain what is the proper approach for Docketwise given the immigration law landscape that we're operating in. And the engineers will have questions about what particular questions mean in terms of the architecture of how Docketwise is put together, what terminology we can use, and just contextually in terms of how our product categorizes information, categorizes attributes, form attributes, and client attributes, what those things mean in real terms. Yeah. And I have to interpret the immigration law language for them so that they can then integrate it into the architecture of the product.
And how this is more business and management related. You're always lucky to find a partner that you work with consistently to launch and sustain a product like this. Could you talk more about your relationship with Jeremy and just how you manage a business with so many moving parts? I'm assuming you're hiring and growing at this point, because with all this extra stuff you're doing, you can't just keep the team the same size.
No, we're growing. Our team is larger than ever, and we have staff here in the United States. We have staff in Philadelphia. We have one individual who's down in Florida currently, and we have staff in India. We have staff in Colombia. So we're in 3 countries, and with Jeremy. So, I mean, I think the key is, it's a close working relationship where, you have respect for the other person's strengths. You have to be willing to go the extra mile and do whatever is needed. I mean, we work as a team. It's a symbiotic relationship where you closely collaborate. We have to have a regular sort of discussion and airing of any issues that present themselves. Sometimes things are very time sensitive. We have to communicate at all hours, and you have to be ready to think on your feet and do what is best for the company and make decisions and have a harmonious vision of where we are heading as a company, and make sure that everything that we are doing is contributing to us progressing toward our business vision for the company. This is the key, and we are aligned with that. You have to be aligned on what the long-term goal is there, and make sure that you are doing everything to make the company progress toward that goal.
With regards to your vision and long-term goal, how codified is that, and how specific is it between you? And do you also regularly talk about it, go over it, and resort to it to think about it to realign yourselves? Or is it just so it intertwines as part of your being that you already know where the goal is? How outside of yourself is it where you communicate about it?
No, you do need to communicate about it. I mean, we need to be aware of what the business landscape is that we're operating in. Whether there are any challenges, what challenges are developing in the business landscape. I mean, whether it's other companies which are in or entering the same space who aim to compete with us. How are we stacking up against those? How can we prioritize our work and our resources to make sure that we present ourselves as the solution that people want, so that we, maintain our market share. We have to see. I mean, for example, right now I'm part of the technology advisory group with AILA, and one of the things that we're doing is initiating discussions with USCIS over the possibility of them eventually allowing direct e-filing through their platform. I mean, we don't currently have the ability to directly e-file applications through the USCIS ELA system for our users, and that would be something that would be extremely desirable. So we're in negotiations, so participating in those and seeing what the challenges are on the governmental side, what the challenges are in the business landscape. And we have to we have to openly discuss what these things mean and what's the correct way to approach those so that we continue to be successful. We've been very successful in the years that we've been operating. We've quickly ascended to kind of being preeminent, one of the preeminent companies in this space. We want to maintain that. We want to extend it. We want to be able to offer more than the competitors. We want to have the best, most responsive customer service that we can. And there's a lot to maintain with the platform. And you were asking me a second ago about what the responsibilities are. There's a lot of responsibilities of maintaining a platform like this. I mean, it took years to build it, and then it takes an ongoing effort to maintain it. I mean, the things have to be kept accurate. The form versions have to be kept accurate. The cutoff dates from the Visa Bulletin have to be entered every month. I mean, there's a lot that goes into maintaining it so that the architecture, the wheels continue turning, and it keeps. Any technology company, there will be a bug. There's eventually bugs that arise or something that have to be attended to. Things, especially when we do updates. If there's adjustments that need to be made in the coding and things like that. There's a lot that goes into maintaining it.
And there's the holy grail of the DS260. Hopefully, Department of State will open that API one day, and that'll save a lot of headache for immigration lawyers.
It would be, yeah. I mean, we have a comprehensive questionnaire for that, but people do have to go and copy paste the information in. So if we were able to, I mean, we have the ability to create the tool that'll copy the whole questionnaire and paste it in. But the thing is that my understanding was that every time they were on the Department of State side, every time they altered their coding, it would break the tool. So it could break, yeah. But I think we're going to figure a way around that. I think we will solve that problem.
Yeah, that's one of the most time-consuming ones I have to deal with it as a full solo. It's just like that process, the address dates, times you out, this kind of stuff. But it'll come. I'm sure it'll come. James, is there anything, as a reminder to people who are listening up to here, you've been so kind. There's a 10% off discount off your annual plan if you sign up for an annual plan by going to www.docketwise.com/immigration-lawyers-podcast and using the code immigration Lawyers Podcast. So I always try to remind people of that to make the most of it and save some money.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we regularly get people who have found us through the podcast. So it's wonderful that you have this amazing audience that's so loyal. And I'm just very happy whenever anyone comes to us and says that they've reached us they've heard of us through the podcast. So keep listening, everybody. He's a fantastic host, and this is an amazing podcast. You're in the right place.
Thank you, James, so much. If you want to contact you, what's the best way to reach out?
James@docketwise.com. Anything you want to tell me, that's where I am.
There we go. Thanks, James. Stay on the line. We'll talk for a second. But I want to thank everyone who reached out, and definitely reach out to Docketwise and test out the software at least to see for yourself how it feels if you're using another service at this time. Thanks, James.
Thank you.